Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go.
Hey guys, good morning.
Only know you've been high,
David.
feeling low. Only hate
Make it
the
louder.
road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. I'm running away. I have a meeting, unfortunately, to go to. Actually, fortunately, because it could be a good thing. But nonetheless, I wanted to take 3 seconds and say happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hope to see you guys and 10 of your friends for each of one of you first of next year. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.
Aw, thanks, Ron. All right, so I'm Shay Glenny. I'm one of the organizers. Ron Benzeev is another. And then Dave, will you wave? This is Dave Pancros. And then we have Nancy Alpers in Kansas City joining us over live stream. She keeps us very organized, so we appreciate you, Nancy, and miss you. How many people are here for the very first time? Just by a show of hands. Awesome, welcome. So I'll give you a quick overview of how it works. We have 2 local startups present every Wednesday morning. We allow them to tell their story for 6 minutes, and then we follow that up by 20 minutes of community questions and answers. This is not quite like Shark Tank. So Ron likes to say this is Guppy Tank, where we are looking for ways to actually help the local startups break through current barriers, overcome current hurdles. Definitely asking some thought-provoking questions, but we're not necessarily trying to poke holes. However, if you've got kind of a special insight and you see something that you need to bring to their attention, please follow up afterwards. There's some great networking that happens before and after this event every week. So we'll have one startup tell their story for 6 minutes, 20 minutes of Q&A, and then we'll have a very, very, very short break. You probably won't even get up out of your chairs. And then we'll have the other startup come and share their story. And then there's some great community networking that's going to happen right afterwards. I want to ask you, please join us on Twitter. We have kind of picked our battles with social media, and for the most part, we've chosen Twitter. So we try to keep the event live tweeted, and we really like to give our presenters activity on Twitter, having conversations with them, and those conversations tend to kind of happen all throughout the week if you get involved today. It's a great way to keep up relationships. Here's all of your organizers' Twitter handles, and then our sponsors. God, love our sponsors. They're amazing. 1 Million Cups could not happen every single Wednesday if it weren't for specifically these 3 sponsors. We have Rudy over here live streaming the event. He's joycasting the event for us. We have Rollins giving us this gorgeous space every single week. And then we have Barney's Coffee keeping us caffeinated. So please show them some appreciation and love on Twitter as well as you are enjoying the presentations. Are we starting with GotChosen?
We are starting with Turbo Compliance.
Oh, with Turbo Compliance. Okay, awesome. Well, come on up, you guys. Give him a warm welcome this morning.
Good morning. My name is Stephen Nation. I am one of the founders of Turbo Compliance. Turbo Compliance is a service that was built and is currently in nationwide beta to address the complexities of healthcare compliance. I see some lost looks out there. Don't worry, it is confusing, and it's our objective to simplify that. So think of Turbo Compliance as your pathway towards compliance, much like you would think of TurboTax to tax preparation. So what we do, it's our objective to take the complexities out so you don't have to be a HIPAA compliance officer, you don't have to be an IT or security professional to get on a pathway towards compliance. And that's the objective of Turbo Compliance. So, the story. Carlos Garcia, one of the other founders, who's got over 20 plus years of experience in the IT healthcare arena. Myself, I've got the security and the privacy and the compliance background in building and patenting solutions. Got together, we were on a trail run one day. And we're out there, and of all things that guys talk about on trail runs, this time we're talking about healthcare compliance. And we both had the same shared experience. We'd been out there, we've done the on-site healthcare audits, whether it's for the small, medium-sized healthcare practices or the hospital size. And we both came back with the same conclusion. It's not that they are not concerned about compliance. They don't know how to address the requirements for compliance. So hence, Turbo Compliance. So we went to the drawing board, we went to the whiteboard. And what we did is we developed and drew out an event-driven architecture much like TurboTax, that really sets you on the pathway towards compliance, addressing all of the security, privacy, and organizational requirements that HIPAA addresses. And we focused it on the small, medium-sized practices. So, what is Turbo Compliance? First and foremost, those are actual screenshots. Like I said, the Turbo Compliance service is currently in nationwide beta. So Turbo Compliance, we've already talked about getting you on the pathway towards compliance. We serve not only as a document management system, but we also have integrated security assessments and IT risk analysis so that you don't have to be that security professional or IT professional or bring in an outside auditor or outside third party, which costs a lot of money if you're a small, medium-sized healthcare practice. So in this case, what we're doing is we've got almost a software as a service model. So instead of paying, let's say, $5,000 a year for a small practice to hire a consultant to come in and get you the necessary tools to become compliant, for a small monthly fee, that small, medium-sized practice can get on that pathway towards compliance with all of the necessary IT, security, and documentation requirements. So what we do is we manage. We manage and we provide that service so that you're not operating out of a file folder. So we've all been to your healthcare provider, and it's all manila folders and nobody knows where anything is. This centralizes everything in a secure location, a single secure location. So the next question, which is obvious, is Turbo Compliance required? Yes, you are required to provide the necessary measures and implement those measures to protect your practice and to get on to become compliant and show that you are putting those measures in place to become compliant. So the answer is yes. And is it enforceable? Yes. Are fines being levied? Yes. So for a small monthly fee, these practices can now have the tools necessary to become and get on that pathway towards compliance. And what we do is we take a gamification approach. Anybody that's used social media or anybody that's ever played an online game, which is, in this case, the operations manager of a practice, can now get a visual representation. That the physician who can be overseas can now log in and see where their practice is in getting onto that pathway towards compliance. They can dig down, they can see who has what signed. Are their business associates, are they all tracked and managed? Everything is available in real time in that single central secure location. So the market potential. There are over 240,000 small, medium-sized, or single practices around the country. So it's not our objective to go door to door. Door-to-door healthcare sales is not easy, and we don't intend to get in that market. We intend to focus on the groups, your ACOs, your IPAs, in this case, the RECs, the Regional Extension Centers. These centers are federally funded, and they were provided these funds to provide these small and medium-sized practices with the tools necessary to not only become compliant, but to become non-paper-based. So in this, utilizing EHRs, which is another requirement. So they're already paying into this group to be a member to become compliant. And the same thing these RECs are seeing. They walk in, they go, hey, I need you to produce this documentation. Well, we don't have it. So they can't even perform their necessary security assessments or audits until they get all of the documentation required. So in the case of Turbo, we provide everything right there. So it's our objective in partnering through the RECs, who we have a few that we're finalizing now, to provide them with an ability to offer our service at a deep discount so that we're not killing our resellers, to also generate revenue. So it's a profit center because they were provided one-time federal funds, and these funds are running out or have already run out for these REC centers. So now they can generate a profit. So why are we here? We've only got 6 minutes. The ask. First and foremost, Turbo Compliance is a service that is currently in nationwide beta. So if you know anybody in the healthcare arena, we welcome them and yourself to try it out for yourself. That's the nature of the beta. We want to hear from our users. We want to know if we've missed something. Maybe we know about it, maybe we don't. Sure, we've got a great service, but it can't be the best service until we get the users, which we're gaining on a daily basis, to vet and approve and provide the necessary feedback to get to that next level for that go-to-market. So the other thing, investors. This product, this service has been in development for a year. It's all self-funded, and we are interested in talking with investors that may be interested in being a part of this service. Now, with that, are there any questions?
Well, raise your hand and wait for a mic
And you
for
have to
the questions. Actually, can I just start off with saying, well, I haven't actually seen your product, but you're not delving into the EMR side of things. No. These are just. Are you basically capturing the forms that people sign when they first walk in, like all the HIPAA forms?
This service does not store PHI. Okay. So PHI, personal health information. So in this case, we're not getting into the EHR. We're not digging in and pulling patient records, which is a huge liability.
How many doctors or RECs do you have that are like playing with the system to give you some feedback?
We currently have 2 out of the 62.
Hi, good morning. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Hey, good morning. I was just wondering, through your beta, what have you learned? What have you needed to change from your approach, your first approach? And when do you expect to start transitioning into asking for money?
Well, ready to ask for money. I think we've definitely proven the value of the service, and I can demonstrate that offline. One of the biggest things that we've learned is we came out with first and foremost Turbo Compliance as we've got the document management platform, and then we've got the event-driven architecture for integrated security assessment. The next thing that we're currently working on that we've received the feedback is an integrated IT risk analysis. So with an integrated IT risk analysis, it sounds very technical, but what that means is we can provide a tool to basically go out and remotely identify all of their IT assets, and we can either perform the assessment, the risk analysis, what's at risk. So this is all associated with NIST, who you may be familiar with, in their guidelines for risk analysis. And it's actually so easy that your operations manager, who may not have an IT background, can walk through performing a risk analysis.
And is that something that the customer was asking you for?
Correct. And it's currently scoped in development.
And so what's your pricing model? Is it a volume-based model, or is it a flat monthly fee, or how?
Volume-based model based on the number of seats, because you're managing the employees, a number of employees, and it wouldn't be fair to charge a 1 to 10 a practice of 5, the same as you're charging a hospital group of 5,000.
Sure. But is it per physician, per provider, including nurse practitioners, or is it
per employee? Because you have to manage the employees, the policies, procedures that they have to adhere to, and everything else that's associated with that.
Okay.
Are you familiar with a group called Moroff?
I am familiar with Moroff.
Okay, that would be a good resource.
Are you finding that and by the way, I work in privacy also, but are you finding that the physicians that are looking at the product are understanding what you need? You and I understand what the requirements are, what compliance is, but are they understanding what they need and how to work through the Turbo Compliance?
And that's what we're looking to provide, is cut through the ambiguity of HIPAA compliance. So you've obviously sat in those presentations and those training sessions where they don't tell you how to address compliance. They provide you with what the compliance is, what are the requirements. In this case, we're providing the guidance to not be compliant, but get on the pathway to compliance, because I can't reach into your office and make you compliant, but I can provide you with the tools necessary to become compliant. So we're addressing the actions that are required under HIPAA.
Is this something that's done in real time? So if I have a employee or someone that is starting to fall below that compliance level, is there alerts sent out to alert the doctor or the practice?
In that example, no, but yes. Overall, the objective of Turbo Compliance is to be your guide, is to provide you with the notifications. So give you an example, you've got a business associate. They've got a business associate agreement. We track, monitor, manage all of that, so we provide you with the notification, in this case, that their agreement is set to expire in 30 days. You got to do something about it. Get a new agreement if it's not set to auto-renew. But the employee side, you currently have a real-time picture as to where they are, what they've completed, but there's no scoring yet on the single individual employee, but that's not a bad idea. Thank you.
Stephen, does it make sense to integrate your functionality and logic into an EHR system?
Yes, it does. One of our partners for another service is Allscripts. So the service was actually built to be integrated in with EHRs. We currently are not. However, it was developed with that consideration in mind.
Is that one of your long-term strategies?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, come on, left side of the room. We're losing to them, I think. Okay, we're catching up.
Who's your competition?
There are competitors out there. Our top, I think it's Compliance 360, who you may be familiar with there, but they don't operate as a true SaaS model. So in our case, we encourage usership. So we've got free trials available, so you can go and test and determine if this is the right solution for you. Now, we also have a privacy policy where just because we're helping you track, manage, monitor, doesn't mean that we own your data. So at any time, you can take your information. So let's say your subscription expires. You still own your data, but you will not have the ability through Turbo Compliance to track, manage, and monitor that information. So there are competitors out there, but no direct competitors that address the security, privacy, and organizational as a single SaaS-based component.
Could you give some examples of compliances in general? What type of compliances that you're assisting them with, and describe them, what they involve?
Absolutely. Training management is a perfect example. Your employees must prove or demonstrate that they've been trained. That's a first off example, because that's where you start in building your organization within Turbo Compliance, is with your employees. And then you focus on your organizational side. So your organizational side focuses on the necessary documentation. So in compliance, and I can have somebody attest to this, it's not what you do, it's what you can prove and what you've got documented. So in our case, we provide you with the necessary documentation to protect and reduce your liability. So if, in the case of a breach, do you have a password privacy policy? Yes, I do. Here it is. As opposed to, no, I don't. Now I've got to pay somebody to come in and develop and build all of this, customize it for my organization.
So I know you said you've got 2 of the 62 entities that you're working with right now. Have you looked at anything outside of, down the road, years down the road, have you looked at anything outside of the healthcare field when you look at whether it be merchandise, or you see all the different data breaches, or do you see other opportunities for your business as you go forward? I'm
very glad you asked that question. Right now our focus is on HIPAA. One thing at a time. There are shiny things out there. The service was built to take into consideration all compliance and on all regulated markets. My background prior to healthcare was in the financial regulation market. So I'm very familiar with the other regulated markets, and the service was built taking that into consideration. And not only that, but any small, medium-sized business that is not even regulated, having its corporate compliance and proactive measures to get your business in order. And that's why turbo compliance was built, not just for healthcare. That's the low-hanging fruit.
While Dave gets down there, I have a question for you. I'm over here by the door. Are you familiar with, have you applied yet to Venture Pitch Orlando if you're looking for investors?
I've done it before, but not with this service. But I'm familiar with it.
So are you going to?
I don't, honest answer.
So what are you doing to market and let the healthcare community and the small business community know about your product? What's your marketing strategy?
Well, the marketing strategy is first and foremost engagement. So dealing with the groups, speaking circuits, it's awareness. Part of the investment side is to get a dedicated staff for being in the field, for introducing the service. Yes, we've got web-based, we've got the website, and yeah, drive traffic there, but that's not how healthcare really works. When it comes to the sales, it's person to person, here's your cup of coffee kind of thing. So that's part of why we're looking to build the team to address that and build up our usership. Does that answer your question? Sort of. Not trying to dodge it. No,
Hi, I've worked in corporate compliance, and one of the things that we had to be very careful about is when we worked with clients is we could let them know that this is how most people might handle this, but we had to be very careful that we were not their lawyer, and
Yes.
we could not tell them this is what they must do. And are you in that same situation with this?
We are in that same situation. We are not attorneys, and everything that we provide in terms of a template, it clearly states that we encourage you to go out and seek legal representation. One of the aspects of Turbo that we haven't built is, and I'm still evaluating whether to do it, is build up a partnership of legal assets to, for a reduced fee, will evaluate a specific document to give you that assurance, as opposed to $800 for, yeah, the routine.
A couple of questions. This is totally out of my wheelhouse, so let me start off with asking, your templates that you have available, are they complete or are they still in process of being developed?
Most are complete. It is in nationwide beta, so we have not released all of the templates because we don't want to work ourselves out of the market, but most all of them are.
Okay, well, the matrix then is also been developed. When you bring a staff on to represent your service, that matrix has already been established. And if that were the case, I'm curious as to the starting point today when you don't have a staff representing you versus when you do, and what's the margins? I mean, that's, to me, always the most important question. How much are you making?
The margins on any software as a service are extremely high. There's the initial investment for building, and that's pretty much the only cost, and maybe some branding that goes in. So right now, the expenditures that we've put are very low. So for the return on investment, it's extremely. We can talk numbers, or I can provide you with some documentation after this. Our margins, we have not yet identified what our price point is, and we will not release that until post-beta, because we want that to be determined by our users. So an exact margin, I cannot provide you with, but I can tell you that it's very good from just pre-identified price points. Does that address your question? Yeah, I'm sorry. I can provide you with some documentation afterwards if you'd like.
I think we have time for one more question.
Who audits HIPAA, and is that auditing body approachable to be one of your supporters?
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
Who audits HIPAA compliance, and is that auditing body a possible source to be one of your backers?
Yes, but they're also a competitor. So in this case, a perfect example would be government has contracted with KPMG to provide these audits. Now, KPMG is not going to get involved unless there's money involved. But also, on the other side, there's a conflict of interest because KPMG is contracted by healthcare, by hospital groups to provide the audits. But they have been contracted by the federal government to provide those audits and levy those fines.
Awesome. So save those questions for afterwards and meet up with them afterwards, please. So just real quick, tell us, we know exactly what we can do for you here today. If somebody wants to connect a healthcare provider with your beta, what's the very first thing that they should do?
Simply visit beta.goturbo.co.
Okay, and if they know an investor who might be interested in your project, what's the very first thing that they should do?
Contact me directly.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Stephen. I have a grand aversion to microphones. Can you tell? Not as much of an aversion to microphones as Ron, but. So that was awesome. Thank you so much, Stephen. Please, those questions that you guys had, follow up with him afterwards. We really appreciate the questions that you guys have. It helps us all to learn about the process of entrepreneurship, helps us all to think in ways that maybe we wouldn't think as we're kind of innovating off in our bubble sometimes. Our next presenters are GotChosen, and before I bring them up here, I just want to highlight something about GotChosen that is really, really extra special to me, and that is that they were one of the prime sponsors of the big exchange for Global Entrepreneurship Week that just happened in November. Orlando has never celebrated Global Entrepreneurship Week as an entire city or for the whole week. And so we made history this year by celebrating that entire week. It was celebrated globally. There was over 150 nations, over 10 million participants, and we, Orlando, were on the leaderboard for the entire United States because of our community initiatives during that week. And so the fact that GotChosen got behind that, it was a first-year event, there was so much to learn. They are really dedicated to our community. They are really dedicated to our entrepreneurs. They've sponsored other events. I know you guys were sponsors of Tech Week as well. So these are the kinds of people you want to connect with. People that are investing in our community and who are kind of pioneering new ground. I encourage you to connect with them afterwards, even if you aren't particularly interested in their exact project. These are meaningful people in our community. And so I just want to highlight that. And thank you guys again for your support of Global
Thank you,
Entrepreneurship
absolutely.
Week.
Our pleasure.
Okay, so they have a really exciting project that I do think you're going to love. And so I want to bring Jan up. And Dana. Awesome. Oh, dynamic duo. So we've got Jan and Dana. I'll let you guys kick off here in just a second. Are you guys going to tell them about the social curtain on the Big Exchange website? At the end.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You. Okay, good. Awesome. Let's give them a warm welcome.
Absolutely. Good morning. So we are here to talk about the end of social networking.
As we know it.
Yep, hang on. Here we go.
As we know it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we all engage in social networking, mostly because we get a lot of these friends. And then we get to do other things, connect, share, build brand reputation, build community, sometimes vent.
And along the way, we get invited to do things like register for stuff. Or there's an ad we see, some sexy shirt or some hot shoes that we want to buy. We click on it. And in that one moment, we become part of the big data revolution. We now become part of the system, and we're in the matrix. As an individual, every click is tracked. As a business, your visitors come, and they start to walk out the door, and they begin to disappear.
The solution, social exchange, where you still get to keep your thousands or millions of friends, where you get to connect with new ones. You have the opportunity to shop where you want to shop, and as a publisher of a website or blog, you get to make money.
And build reputation, all inside a force field of privacy, where you're free from the data matrix, which makes everybody very happy. Presenting the social exchange, the social environment that lives on your website, where your visitors can chat, connect, and share what's important to them.
So why are we here? So you can get involved with the social exchange. You can join as an individual, which we can sign you up with this morning. Doesn't cost you a thing. And we're inviting you, you can only get onto the social exchange through your website. So it's to build your reputation, for you to get traffic on your site, for you to keep traffic on your site. We are in beta as well, and so we've been doing this by invitation only. We've been keeping it local. We're getting ready for a national launch in January, and we are inviting you this morning to join other local companies that have installed Social Exchange on their website.
And who are we? We are GotChosen, presenting the Social Exchange.
Voila.
Thank you. And we're going to bring our CFO, Phil, up here. He presented a year ago. So a year ago, we were talking concept and showing PowerPoint, and now we actually have real live demo. So I'm going to give this back to David.
Okay, so questions. Right here in front.
So you had the same question. Who's your main competitor with this?
Well, there is, okay. So there is no real main competitor because there's no one doing everything that we're doing. The two that have like popped up are Ello and Sue. They both have privacy. You have to be invited, and there's all about privacy. However, Ello's business model is there's advertising you have to buy into or choose not. They're adding features on that actually cost you something. Sue's new as well, and I haven't yet to figure out their business model, quite frankly. But ours is different than theirs.
Okay. I love this concept. I recently launched a social media company that is all about art and artists. It's growing exponentially. We're doing really, really well with it. One of the hiccups I've found is that the coding process is PETA. And I'm being polite. This is a family program, okay? Anyway, short question. Is this widget based? Is it just a block of code that you drop into your website directly? Is it Java or HTML? And then is it strictly for your users who sign up into the social exchange through your program, or is this a universal exchange where they're getting other information from other sites?
Exploded because my head's exploding.
All the answers good.
Yeah.
I hope I can remember all the questions, so I'll give you all the answers. But it's JavaScript.
Okay.
It's an iframe software that sits on your site and allows you to deliver social networking functionality, and then by middle of next year, e-commerce functionality to your visitors without having them having them leave your site.
Okay, is it specific to the users who join through your site, or are they part of the aggregate?
You can be a user at multiple levels. When this code is on your site, all of your visitors can enjoy the content on the site. They cannot contribute unless they sign up and become part of the social exchange. We have a quality value that we're trying to make our social exchange a higher quality, more respectful place to be online, so that we do ask for a email address and a phone number so you can authenticate yourself before you post.
Let me clarify the question. Is it, for instance, user X comes onto my site. They love it. They want to join my social exchange. Are they strictly a member of me, or does their user ID put them into everything else? And while they're on my site, looking...
Yeah, they enter the entire system.
Okay.
Please use a mic. Mike, they can't hear you online, please.
Yeah, so they enter the entire system. So what's really cool is if they enter through your website, they can surf around, they can connect, they can do whatever, and they stay on your site. Because what happens is we call it a web curtain. They actually drop it to Exchange, and then they can put it right back up. Now, on the web curtain, once you install it, you actually have your own channel, which can serve as, name it, you can serve as your blog, it can serve as your recent news, that type of thing. So they enter, they drop the curtain, you're the very first channel.
So this is Florida Swim Network's website. This is what it looks like on their website. The moment you drop the curtain, that's what it looks like. I'm still on their website. This is their web curtain. And as a user, I'm logged in, and these are my channels and my connections right here. Those are my connections and my channels. Does that make sense? Did you get that? Okay, great.
And that's installed as part of with the website code, or is that a browser extension that you put on there? Is there a browser extension component too that's always there, or is it just part of the website?
It's part of the JavaScript process. We have a publisher administration platform that allows anybody with a website or blog to choose the channels that they want to appear, choose the image they want to have in the upper left-hand corner. The concept is, if you have a website, it's branded to your website, but personalized to your users. You get to select the channels that are on top of the page for all the non-registered visitors of your site. But when someone becomes a Social Exchange member, the channels they see on top, they get to see what they want to see.
Exactly. Brilliant. Okay.
So, me?
Oh, hi. Hi, me.
Hi. So I know that you guys had a corporate social responsibility component with some scholarships and things you were doing.
Yes.
Are you still?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. So
Found that interesting.
One of the things that makes this company so unique is we really started out doing good before doing business, quite frankly, is we give away $1,000 scholarships every month. And there's no, it's not grade point based, it's not, what did I say? It's not grade point based, it's not financial need based, it's not what your major is based. It's all based on, we believe college students should have an opportunity to go to school and not have a debt. And anyone can apply for it. So if you're a grandparent, you can apply for it for your child. If you're a parent, you can apply for it. If you're an aunt, you can apply for it. And then 4 times a year, we give away $20,000, and it's all done randomly. And so we actually have a database already on the system of over 1 million users from those students who have participated in the scholarship. To answer your question? Okay, great. Yeah.
My question is about the same thing that Ella faces and Sue, which is general social media fatigue. The idea of one more network usually makes people's head explode. So how do you overcome that huge hurdle now? No matter how much we dislike Facebook, it's easier to unjoin and realize our data is all still there than it is to pick up and start again with another network.
We are a few months away from being able to transport your data from other social networks to ours. But no, you are absolutely right. Building a network takes a lot of work, lots of conversations. It's one of the reasons we're here today, that we hope that everyone in this room and everybody listening to the video online goes to one of our publisher sites or goes to GotChosen.com and becomes a user. That's how we're going to change the internet for the better. We take it back from the advertisers that are using our data to monetize. The term social exchange comes from the concept that we want monetization to be 2 ways on the internet. We want to adhere to the concept that your data is your data and should not be used for commercial purposes without your consent.
Exactly. Any other questions? Yes, back there. Yeah, hi.
Hi. So I have a question for you. My I have a site, and if I want to integrate a social aspect like what you guys are offering, I understand when people connect to GotChosen, they are part of the entire network, but you have your site. Now, once they connect to, let's say they come to my site and they connect to GotChosen with the intention of, joining the conversation within my site exclusively. I want to know what type of interaction you guys have with that customer, because technically they are a part of your network as well. So are you going to be sending them emails saying, hey, join this conversation as well? Or are you going to suggest certain things? Because that will kind of intrude upon, I guess, what their original intention was, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. Once they're in, they're in. And that's the beauty of when we talked about building reputation, right? Because inside each conversation, you noticed that there's some smiley faces, there's some up arrows, there's some down arrows. And because we have a two-step verification process, you're dealing with real people. So if someone comes into a channel, the community will actually alter whether that conversation goes up or whether it goes down or not, because, we're like, oh man, that guy's so awesome. We think he's great, and we upvote him, or boy, wow, is he really off base? No. And the community will actually start to regulate whose reputation is really valid in what area. Like up here, you'll see my reputation. On the thing is 830 in internet. It's because whatever I've posted, people have actually enjoyed. People have said, yeah, that's really cool, or yes, I agree with that, or they've shared it, right? So that's the reputation I've built inside there. Dana's got a different reputation. Phil has a different reputation in the different channels. And it's all community regulated.
I see. So, as well, and I see that. And what I see is similar to like a YouTube channel, for example, how you have different channels and things like that. So I guess my question would be, let's say that's your page and this is the conversation that's happening within your community on your website. On the left side there, is there like maybe suggestions where you can join other conversations, or maybe get off topic, maybe something that's different than what your site is talking about?
We think that's going to happen organically, because this is a social exchange where once you're on, you're going to tell your friends and your connections what's cool. But the whole concept is based on privacy and choice. I do want to alleviate your concerns that we're trying to get at your visitors' data. That's the antithesis of what we're about. See this blue guy up here? I want to tell you a little story about our mascot. The blue guy, we're going to have a contest to give him a name. But our backstory is he used to work at other social networks, but behind the scenes. But that meant gathering everybody's data and giving it to advertisers, and he got creeped out by that. So he wanted to find a better place to work, and he came to work for GotChosen. So you'll see the blue guy on our screens. He's kind of he fills your profile picture to your post. He'll start answering some of your questions about how do things work, and we are going to have a contest later to give the blue guy a name, because we haven't come up with a good one yet.
Yeah, we do not sell anyone's data, and you will not be tracked inside this environment. That's really what makes it unique.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How does the blue guy get paid? How do you guys make money?
All right. Great question, because we don't charge the users. It costs nothing to register. We don't charge the publishers. It's a revenue share model. We are trying to replace the big data driven advertising system online with a consumer-driven system. We're going to replace, you'll be able to, as a user, to eliminate unwanted ads, but unlike Elo, who's trying to eliminate all ads and monetize from user fees, our model is have a consumer-driven online advertising platform, e-commerce platform that'll be ready in the middle of 2015, where you'll be able to interact with the merchants of your choice, get offers from on the products of your choice, all consumer directed, and the commissions from those sales is what finances the system.
Hence the ad work. These right here. You choose. You say what you want to see and what you don't want to see. Okay.
You the user or you the publisher?
You the user.
I know you're talking to him, but I really want them to be able to hear what you guys are saying online. So.
It's consumer driven. If you have a website that's focused on art, you may have this vision that you want to have art ads be the primary advertising medium on your site. But I may like art, but I may also be shopping for golf clubs. And if I wake up that morning or come off the golf course and say, I got to make an investment in golf clubs, and I visit your site and I get presented an offer for golf clubs that I like, you get a piece of the e-commerce from that, even though it's not art related. Publishers get a part of the revenue share. Consumers are part of the revenue share as well. There's also a 1% cashback incentive for all purchases made on social exchange.
We're all about everybody winning. Because right now, how many of you have websites or blogs, right? The moment someone clicks on Facebook or they click on an ad, where do they go? Somewhere else, right? You work hard to generate that content. You work really hard. You stay up late. You do research. And then they leave to go share something with their friends. We're committed that everybody win. So instead of sending them someplace else and they see an ad someplace else for that sexy top, and that person makes money. Here, they stay right here, and you make money as the publisher, the consumer gets cash back, and the merchant actually gets delivered a consumer with intent to buy. So it's no longer views or clicks. It's not cents per click that you're going to generate. You're actually going to generate dollars.
So just to play devil's advocate, how is this different than the Amazon Associates program? I think they give you what, like 4% for ads and Amazon ads on their site.
Two big differences. One is if you're an Amazon affiliate, you have to push the products. You kind of sacrifice a little bit of your integrity to be a salesman for Amazon. And not only that, you sacrifice your traffic. We eliminate sacrifices. You don't sacrifice your traffic. You don't sacrifice your integrity by being a shill for some other merchant. You just let your website be a vehicle for your visitors to receive offers from merchants of their choice, chosen ads. Pretty cool, huh?
I have a question. So you've kind of blown our minds here. This is like a whole new paradigm, I think, for some of us. So can you come back and just kind of clearly and succinctly tell me, if I have a website or a blog, why would I put this on it?
Number one, keep your traffic. Number two, build a community. You're joining this community of that respects privacy and consumer choice. It's a good thing to be part of. And then by the middle of next year, you then are graduating from an ad click or an Amazon affiliate fee to a share of revenue.
I like it.
And this costs you nothing. So we can, I mean, really, like, we can load this for you today. Actually, you can load it. And, you know, the worst thing that there's the worst thing that could happen. I don't like it. And then you take it off. But, you know, we're saying we're here to ask you to give it a test drive while we're in beta. We have some very large companies watching us, wanting to do business with us, and we have them on hold while we're in beta. So we're inviting you to participate. Now.
Someone else? That's me again. Currently, if I am a user, you said it's by invitation only, but if I'm using, can I invite my social people to come in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I just wanted to.
Yeah. And every week, because we're in beta, we've had beta 1, beta 2, we're now at beta 3. In January, because when you're on there, you'll see some stuff, right? And go, oh, that'd be great, or oh, that'd be great. In January, we're spending all of January doing all of that, maintenance work, and then launching beta 4 in February and going global. We're going to the UK and we're going to Brazil, because in Europe, really in every other part of the planet, privacy is a big deal. We were at Demexco earlier this year, and they couldn't wait for us to come because they hate Google and Facebook. They hate it. So they were like, when are you guys coming? When are you guys coming? Whereas here in America, we're like, oh, something free for my email. Okay, I'll do that. It's not that important. And as people do more and more research, they're really starting to find out how much we're tracked. You type something in an email, the next thing you go to Google, and I sent an email to my friend Dana about dog food, and all of a sudden I'm getting pet ads, right? And I just sent an email. That's creepy to me. So that's what really gets eliminated in here for the consumer.
Shay asked the question, and so I want to acknowledge that the very first website that loaded Social Exchange is the Big Exchange, and that was only 4 weeks ago. So, that was only 4 weeks ago. So that was the first site. We were able to work out some enhancements, work out a couple bugs. Now we have the list that you saw. We have many more coming. And so again, this is your invitation.
Good morning. I have 2 questions. So the first thing you said is it's based on commissions, and everyone.
Can you ask them one at a time?
Yes, I will. So what's the breakdown on those commissions as far as what the website gets, the publisher, and what the
right?
So it's almost like an eBay kind of business model.
Whatever the consumer purchases, right? Let's say it's $100 value. 5% of that comes back. The publisher gets 2%. The consumer gets 1%. The ad seller gets 1%, GotChosen gets 1%. Now, if there's no ad seller, correct me if I'm wrong, Phil, that 3rd% goes back to the publisher. Okay, so that's the first question.
Actually gets a commission also. For
Yeah, if the publisher sells it.
Oh, that's great. And then the other question would be, there are a lot of programs out there like Google and
Google
things
AdSense
like that they add value to the publishers by adding stuff that they would normally pay for. Have you thought about adding something where the website recognition, where it normally sees where you go on the page for the publishers and what you click and how you get out of that site? Because a lot of people, like you said, about keeping traffic. If you were to add some functionality like that to the publisher where they could see on the clicking and what they're not, that might be an added thing, sort of like AdSense.
Right. I got that. Yeah, we haven't thought of it yet. Thank you. It's a brilliant idea. Okay, great. Okay, hi.
Hi. So you mentioned the end users basically opt in to certain kinds of offers, right? Not offers, in terms of certain categories of products or services.
No, they choose. They choose. So, like, let's say here, right? I love red shoes. I love shoes. I do. And then let's pretend a year from, see red shoes, I was noticing those. So let's pretend a year from now I meet the man of my dreams, we get married, right? But I'm responsible for planning my wedding and paying for my wedding. As much as I love red shoes, I don't want to see red shoes ads. I'm going to say I want to see anything that has to do with weddings, honeymoon, planning, bridesmaids dresses, gifts, like anything that has to do with a wedding. And fast forward a year, I'm all done with that. I want to see my red shoes again.
Okay, so you can maintain your
So as a consumer, you totally choose what you see and what you don't want to see. And what's the win for the merchant is I'm sending them someone that has intent to buy.
Right.
I'm not window shopping.
So what if I, as a consumer, I can choose not to opt into anything? Is that an option?
Absolutely.
Okay, and you can still use all the features without having opted into anything?
For a very tiny monthly fee. I think it's yeah.
Okay.
TBD, but it's tiny.
All right, so you'd have to pay to not opt in,
Correct.
Or you opt in. And can you really drill down your subset to be, how specific is your drill down in terms of categories of products?
We're in the process of building, right? Okay. So this launches in the summer. And I think that's something, and I'm speaking so way out of my wheelhouse, but I'm making it up right now, just so you know. So you know out there, because I'm just thinking, I got my business hat on. You know what? We're gonna want to test and see. Right? Do I want to see boots or do I want to see, thousands kinds of boots? Do you know what I mean? So that's the kind of, I think that's just like in beta here, we'll do beta for the ad portal as well to get a feel for really what the consumer wants and how far they want to go down.
Gotcha. Okay.
Thank you. That's great.
Any other questions? Oh, hi.
Hi. So as the consumer, you're inviting us to join while it's in beta right now. The way you're saying that makes me think as we go forward, you're going to start charging the consumer. Is that true?
No, the system is always free. It's free for the individual. It's free for the individual user. It's free for you to utilize to drop that web curtain, for you to have the web curtain. The only thing that we were talking about is when that other aspect comes in, the actual ad portal aspect that's there, that you may choose, by the way, to put on your site or not, okay, as this becomes available. So as a consumer, I'm going to see this. But if I don't want to see any ads at all, if I don't want to opt in, then that's where there would be a small fee. Okay?
And one other thing to add. And this works in tandem with every other revenue generation thing you're using, right? It's not an either or, it's an and. So you can still use AdSense. You can still use, be an Amazon affiliate. You can still be affiliates for all the other businesses you guys partner with. It's not an or. It's, again, we're committed that you win. We're committed that the merchant win. We're committed that the consumer win. Because it's time we take our stuff back.
question. In terms of the ad portal and all the content that you're working with merchants, I mean, how are you building your merchant list, and where are these red shoes really coming from?
Nordstrom's. No, kidding. Where else would they come from? We're actually working with, we're in the process of starting to meet with some ad networks at the beginning of the year. We've also got some conversations going with some very large, how do I want to say this, retail companies, right? And then other companies that we partner with, like you see, you know, Monster, we're in the process of having some conversations with them. They have obviously a very large stable of advertising partners, agencies that they work with. And so when we start to partner with organizations like that, we'll be able to tap into that as well.
Do you have a advertising model where I, as a publisher, want to publicize an event, but I want to make it open, or I'm launching a new product line and I want to, is there a process for simple, small,
Yes.
more targeted ads?
Yes. Yeah, so you don't see it because it's not here, but in this area right over here, there will be a couple of little squares. Imagine, if you will, there will be a couple little squares that you'll totally drive, that you'll have the opportunity to put your stuff in, or if you want your little ad portal, correct, Phil, that they put you, that's your deal. That's your inventory that you get to sell.
Imagine like you have a Facebook page that people don't have to leave you to go to. That's what your publisher channel will become. And they'll have a hybrid advertising component to that, so you can monetize that off that as well.
Where were you guys 6 months ago?
Yeah, I know. Raising capital.
Okay. Just a follow-up question to that point. So you said they're not leaving the site to go to purchase. So the sellers would actually maintain their inventory and their images and everything like that on the site, and the credit card payments you would collect and pass on?
You know, privacy and choice are our core values here. And we're even embedding that in the merchant platform. The buy button will have two choices. You can buy in this private protected area where the merchant doesn't even know who you are, and we can close that transaction. However, we know a lot of consumers like being part of merchant databases to get the points, and we're going to accommodate that as well.
What was the second option again?
There'll be go to the merchant shopping cart option if you want to participate in their point programs.
And is there a difference in terms of how you charge the commission?
No.
So that just made me think, if you're not even telling the merchant anything about it, what about fraud? Then are you taking on that liability if someone, you know, lifted a credit card number and then bought something?
Certainly. I mean, we are, that's the reason it's going to take us 6 months to launch the product. We're identifying the partners that's going to protect us in that space.
Okay.
All right, if you guys have any questions, check with them afterwards. You guys, our big question to you is, what can we do right now? We want to see you succeed. What can we do right now to help you succeed?
As a user, join the conversation. Find one of our websites. Please help us build this network. And for those of you who have websites and blogs, see Jan and Dana right after this meeting, and they can get this curtain on your site if you have a website or a WordPress blog today. There's some blogger platforms we don't support yet, but I think we'll be able to get most of you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Yay.
All right, that wraps up another great week at 1 Million Cups. We are off next Wednesday and the Wednesday after, so this is the last 1 Million Cups of 2014. We will see you guys back the very first Wednesday in January. I think that's the 7th. So definitely, like Ron said before he left, bring your friends. This is a community event for entrepreneurs, by entrepreneurs. We're all volunteers. We cannot do this without you. We cannot do this if you don't want it. So you have to help us reach entrepreneurs in the community, encourage them to apply. We will help them get prepared to present. Even if they're maybe not at the right stage yet, it's still good to apply, because part of the approval process is going through some tutorials and very short classes with the Kauffman Foundation out of Kansas City, which is just incredible. So apply now, apply early. We'll help you get ready. And bring your friends, tell your friends, and we will see you guys next year.